Hi everybody, this is Justin Wingate with Avid Customer Success. In this video we're going to discuss organizing Sony XDCAM EX footage for use with Avid AMA volume mounting. And so let's get started. When you receive a Sony S/S media card, that will contain the footage that was shot on a Sony EX camera. Typically it'll come to you in a card and you'll stick it in your card reader. In this case I have a S/S card reader with two different cards that are in it. And you'll see they've mounted on my desktop as removable discs. So that physical S/S card is known as a volume, and we can really consider a volume really nothing more than a container. So we've got physical containers that contain a BPAV folder, BPAV. This folder contains all of the clip and metadata for the footage that was shot. And if you drill deep down enough, you're going to find the actual video files themselves, the MP4 files. But one main problem that I have seen with some people using this footage is that they will remove that MP4 out of the folder, which is not a good idea. You don't want to remove that out of its location. It needs all the other bits in there. So the number one rule with dealing with this kind of footage is don't change that BPAV folder in any way. Leave it and its contents the same. So what happens if we have two distinct cards? So I've got two cards, each containing a BPAV folder. So this is where we want to talk about how to organize these clips so that it's easy for Avid's volume mounting to really work. So the first thing you'd want to do is copy the BPAV folders from each respective card onto your preferred storage. So in this case I've already copied them down to my media RAID here, and this is what I've done. I've created a card 1 folder and placed the BPAV from that card in there. I've created a card 2 folder and placed its BPAV in there, and then I also had a third card earlier that I copied over. So I actually have 3 distinct BPAV folders, each within a respective folder in that way. Alright, we'll go back and talk about that in a second. The first thing I'm going to do though is eject those S/S cards. I don't want those connected to my computer anymore because likely they're going to need to reformat those and take those off back into the field as soon as possible. So I've got my 3 folders here. So what we've done is we've replaced the physical card volume with a virtual volume. The BPAV folder is not the virtual volume. The virtual volume is the folder that contains the BPAV now. Now it's okay that I've named this card 1, card 2, and card 3, but let's say we've got a multi-day shoot or a multi-camera shoot. So one of the things you'd want to do is very specifically and uniquely name these cards, because this might work for a one-day shoot, but when you have a multi-day shoot, day 2's card 1 would be named the same as day 1's card 1 folder, and Avid's going to get a little bit confused and it's going to combine those two together, and we want to keep everything separate and nice and organized. So what I have here is an example of an organization that you can use. The names are completely customizable, but this is what I've done. So instead of just card 1, I'm going to name that folder project name day 1 or D1 card 1, and then likewise project name day 1 card 2, and then day 1 card 3. So I'm going to move the BPAV folders into those respective very specifically named folders. So I'm going to get rid of that out of there. So now that I have specifically named virtual volumes, we can now take advantage of Avid's volume mounting to make sure that it sees them all individually. Now notice that what I've done is not only are the virtual volumes named specifically, but the folder above all of that, which is my project name day 1. So within the day 1 I have card 1, card 2, card 3. So now I'm going to jump into my project and show you where this organization really pays off. So notice in the project window I have a couple of folders that I've already created here, and you'll notice that it happens to be named the same thing as I named the folder at my Finder level for my raw footage. So consistency is what I'm going for here. So I'm going to go to my File menu and choose Link to AMA Volume. And when I get to my window here, take note of what it says. It says select the root of the virtual volume. Well, we know the virtual volume is the folder that contains the BPAV. So in this case, the card 1, card 2, or card 3 would all be their own virtual volumes. So the root can actually be the virtual volume itself, but in the case of having multiple virtual volumes, the root can actually be the folder that contains the virtual volumes. So in this case, we're going to choose the project name day 1 as the root of our virtual volume and click open. This is where the bin selection window will let you choose how it determines what bins it creates when it does the linking and what it's going to name those bins. So we're going to choose bins based on subfolders. So Avid's going to create 3 bins, each with the same name of the virtual volumes respectively. So I'm going to choose bins based on subfolders and hit OK. And we'll notice that 3 bins are automatically brought into the project, and they all happen to have the same name as the virtual volume folders that I have at my Finder level. So the footage is in, it can be played, it can be edited, we can do the transcoding, whatever you need to do to finish your workflow. But first thing I'll do here is move my bins into my day 1 folder. So really the organization in my project window matches exactly that of my Finder level with my raw footage. So if I ever need to go back and find stuff again, I can. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope you have fun working with your Sony XDCAM EX footage.